Hi guys, this is Shivadi. Welcome to the tutorial on Liquibase. In this session, I am going to explain in detail about database changelog file. Now first let us look at the what is the database changelog. Now whenever you do any type of either it is a XML based migration or any JSON or the ML, then the first root element is the database changelog. Now during the process of Liquibase migration, first it reads this database changelog configuration file and then it will start processing the each senset. So the root element for the Liquibase migration to start is the database changelog. Now database changelog basically contains the few nodes or the elements you can call. Those are, if you see here, one is the same set, include all, preconditions and property. First, let us look at the preconditions. So preconditions is basically gives you some information about on what basis this database changelog or the what are the assumptions they have made while creating this database changelog, and it will enforce the those assumptions and make sure that if there is any violations to that assumptions, then it automatically gives you an error and it will stop the processing that particular database migrations. And also it will perform the data checks before performing any unrecoverable changes such as a dropping the table, and also control what change sets are run and should not run based on the state of the database. Now if you see, look at the preconditions. I am going to provide one example. Here we have different type of commands you are going to find in this part. First one is dbms. Now for example, this while creating this database change log, the developer made the assumption that it has to be executed against only the oracle. Then we can specify precondition dbms as a oracle. Now as we know that currently we are running against the derby database, so if I run this command, what is going to happen is it will give you an error validation. So liquibase update, then this will ideally throw the validation because it does not meet the pre-condition. So if you see here, dbms production failed, expected oracle got derby. So these are the precondition it is going to check. If I check derby, then this will be a valid condition. And also it can there is another useful node or the element is running as. Now for example, the database changelog when I'm creating, I am assuming that this has to be run through the only the admin. That is, let us consider I am running through the system. I am expecting system, but currently I am executing through the Liquibase. Then when again I run this command, again this is going to validate against the which is the user is currently Liquibase is running with the user already provided as part of the data change database change log, and if it is violates, then automatically the validation will fail and it will throw the or it will give you the error message. Now we see here it is validation failed and it is giving the error messaging expected system but was Liquibase. And similarly, for example, if you want to provide some custom message on the failure, then we have the few properties here on failure and on error. Error, we know that if there is any abrupted conditions are happen, then automatically error message will come. But fail can happen even when you say fail, it should halt the process, or if you it can just say warn. Those type of things if you can provide here. Halt is nothing but it will stop the process, and also on failure, what is the message you can provide here. Failure message. Here I can say unauthorized access. Now previously if I run this program, basically what happened is it gives the precondition failed and expected system was Liquibase. As we have provided the custom name, custom error failure message, then now it is going to be updated with the custom message. Let us see. So now custom message come with the unauthorized access. And similarly, if you want to provide any custom message on error, then you can choose on error what is the state, and also on error message what you have to provide. It is custom error message. And similarly here some of the useful commands are there. If you want to execute, you want to check for some column is exist or not, then if you say column is exist, then it will ask for you the table and also what is the column name, it has to check. Then if does not exist, then automatically the precondition will be validation will be failed. And similarly, if you want to check for any sequence is there or index is there, then those type of things are there. Now if you see here, sorry, here column exists, and similarly dbm is nothing but oracle, index exists, or the primary key exists, or the if you want to see for the row count, then you can specify the what is the count you are expecting here, and what is the expected rows of the count, for example 0, and what is the table name you can provide. So if you want to provide any preconditions, that means if you write any database log based on the few assumptions and those needs to be checked before it start executing any change set, then you can provide these type of commands here, so that but first the Liquibase is going to execute these preconditions, and once any of these conditions failure happens, then it automatically terminate the process. Okay, and the next one is property. Next useful tag is the property. Now property is something like you can define a global name or like a alias names, and you can use in the subsequent chain set. For example, here what I am going to do is I am going to define a property name. Name is the table underscore name, and the value I am going to provide as value equal to emp. Now instead of actually using this value, I can take this as a table name, as a alias name or the placeholder. I can use this in as many places as I want. Why it is giving error? Let me see here. Property in this name, table underscore name, and value is emp. And then I can refer this table name wherever I can refer this table name in the subsequent places. Now just I need to refer with the placeholder dollar symbol, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Now if I go ahead and run this particular program, and let me for now I am going to put these preconditions in the comment, because we already got the why we use the preconditions. And then let us go ahead and run this Maven Liquibase update. Okay, so the transformation has, that means Liquibase is successfully migrated this particular SQL based to migration, And if we go to the database and see, now it automatically creates the EMP table. Now earlier also it is there. Just if I refresh it, then it's still we can able to see the EMP table. Okay, so that is the advantage of the property tag. So you can define the property at the global level, and you can use these names as a aliases or the placeholder in the subsequent chain sets. And the next important one is the chain set. So chain set is basically the piece of block where actually you are going to create your XML based migration. And the chain set, what is it going to do is, here ideally you need to provide the unique ID and other. Based on this, it is going to maintain the uniqueness in the database changelog file. So whenever you provide any chain set, make sure that you are going to provide the chain set unique combination, and you can provide multiple chain set. And whenever Liquibase is going to execute each chain set, it is going to treat as a atomic operation, and it will execute against the database. Now let me do one thing here, chain set 2, and other I am giving is Siva, and the table name I am going to provide one more. Table name 1, 2, this is EMP, this is the DEPT, and here 1, it's 2, this is DEPT number and DEPT name. Okay, now I save this particular chain set, and then let us go ahead and execute this master changelog and see what happens. Again, Maven Liquibase update. Now this time what happens is, it has provided the two chain sets. First it will execute because it is already have the same. Now as we change this file, then it will run the transformation once again, and it will do the migration. So this time it has to create EMP table and a DEPT table, and let us see what happens. So this is successfully created, and if you see here, even in the logs itself, you can see that how the transformation is executing. So it's able to execute the src main master dash change dot log dot xml file. And also if you go to the database and just refresh this schema, and this time you should see EMP and DEPT tables are created. So basically chain set is the place where actually we are going to provide the all the SQL related similar equivalent of the XML configurations. And when Liquibase is going to run this changelog file, first it reads the change set, and it will convert the read this XML configuration, and it will convert into the equivalent of the SQL query. It is a DDML or a DML or DDL. It is equivalent of the SQL query will be constructed, and that SQL construction will be executed against the database. So that is how we are going to provide multiple chain set, and each chain set executed against the database as a atomic transaction. And the next important node or the element is the include. Now as we know that as the database or the project is growing bigger, then we are going to maintain the all the chain set in a single file. It is going to be very difficult to maintain. So that is the reason what you can do is you can divided the database transformation or the database changelog files into multiple files, and then you can include them at the root master changelog, so that it will execute each file how many files you are going to include it here. Each file will be executed so that it is easy to maintain. So per module you can create a one master changelog file, and then you can create a one master file at the root level, and in that particular root database changelog you can include all these sub database log files. Now I'm going to show you one example here. Let me create a copy of it. Copy this file and paste it in this particular directory itself. Paste. So here let us give the changelog file as changelog 1. Okay. And similarly create one more file, changelog 2. Okay, so in the master changelog, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all these data, whatever it is available. Okay, before that, yeah, I removed it. And then what I'm going to do is in the change log1.xml file. So I will put only one change log, that is one change set. Okay, here only we require emp table, and the change log 2, what I'm going to do is I'll put the dept. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in the master change log, I'll include these two files. So in order to include src slash main slash resources slash db slash change log slash change log1 dot xml, and similarly I am going to include the second file as well. Okay, so instead of previously we have included both the change set in one file. Instead of that, now I modularize these two files, and then finally we are calling from the master changelog.xml file. Now let us go ahead and run and see what happens here. So what I am going to do is, first let me drop the existing migrations. So in order to drop it, we have a command drop all. Now this is going to drop all the existing SQL based migrations, and we can see the empty schema now. Now let us go and refresh it. Refresh. Okay, so there are no tables here. Now what I'm going to do is, now once again we can run Liquibase colon update. Now this time what Liquibase is going to do is, first it will identify the master changelog.xml, and then it encounters these nodes or the elements include, and first it will read this configuration. Sorry, here we need to go to. So first we have to, it will start reading this particular first changelog1.xml file, and then it will execute against the database. Similarly, it will read the changelog2.xml, and it will convert the SQL based commands and then execute against the database. Let us go ahead and see. This migration has completed successfully. It executed the changelog1.xml and changelog2.xml, and if you go and see the database and just refresh the Liquibase schema, and here you'll see EMP DAPT. So whenever the project is growing larger, then it is it is recommended that we are going to create a multiple changelog database changelog files, and we will place only one master database changelog. In that, we are going to include all the remaining database and details changes, so that it is easy to maintain and also it is easy to debug if there is any issue comes. So this is the another important node is available as part of the database changelog. And we have one more that is include all, but currently this include all is not working with the latest Liquibase Maven plugin. Hence, for now, we covered the these four elements. That is, one is the preconditions. It is going to by using this precondition, it is going to make sure that whatever the assumptions are made when the database changelog is created, those things are needs to be validated in the preconditions. If there is any violation happen to the condition, then automatically Liquibase terminate the process. Second one is the property. If you want to define a global property values in some places, then you can define those things as using the define using the property, and those values you can be used as a placeholders in the subsequent change sets. And change set is a atomic database operation happens against the when it do the migration. So all your related SQL migration or the XML based migrations, you have to specify in the change set and include as the project is going bigger, bigger, then it is very difficult to maintain in the single database log file. That is the reason you can divide the database change logs files into per the module, and all those modules we need to refer in the master database change log file and include. Currently it does not have it does not working properly. That is the reason we can see these things in the later. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.